Hi, my loves. Welcome back. The energy coming into 2026 is not quiet, it's charged. And with the US operation in Venezuela unfolding, global tensions rising, and that unshakable pressure in the air, these cards reveal the end of an empire and what they don't want you to know about the Venezuelan operation. But more than just updates, I wanted to zoom out and feel the larger energetic pattern behind all of it. This is a tarot reading for the collective. It's a chance to receive Spirit's insight, not prediction. We're not here to feed fear. We're here to understand the spiritual current behind the headlines so that we can move through it all with discernment and not panic. Take only what resonates with your spirit and leave anything that doesn't. And remember, everything shared here is spirit led, alleged, and for entertainment purposes only. Please always use your own intuition and discernment first and foremost. And if you're seeking personal clarity, I offer both tarot and pendulum readings through my Etsy shop. You can find the link in the pinned comment below and in the video description. This is a follow-up video to yesterday's pendulum reading. If you haven't seen that, it's going to be linked at the end. The link will also be in the video description and in the pinned comment. Let's begin. Spirit, as we sit in this moment with the US operation in Venezuela and the ripple effects already spreading, what larger energetic pattern is being activated right now? We were given the Two of Wands upright, Ten of Pentacles reversed, Nine of Wands reversed, and the Ten of Swords upright. There's an unmistakable sense that something has been set in motion, a pattern that we've been circling for a very long time, but this time it feels like Spirit is allowing it to finally break open. The Two of Wands tells us that we're standing at a threshold, watching something unfold that reaches far beyond Venezuela. We're being pulled to zoom out, to see the strategy, the reach, the power plays, and most importantly, to recognize that this is not isolated. It's the activation of a larger arc that was already in motion. Something has been building and now it's entered its next phase. The Ten of Pentacles reverse shows that this pattern isn't about building legacies or strengthening foundations. It's about the collapse of old empires, the kind that were built on greed, entitlement, and control. The systems we've relied on to keep things stable are starting to show their fractures, especially in how power is distributed and protected. And with that unraveling, there's a loss of trust, not just between nations, but within. The Nine of Wands reversed is Spirit's way of showing us the exhaustion of it all. The defenses that used to hold are faltering. There's a vulnerability behind the bravado, tired leaders, worn out lies, and a system that's running out of excuses. It's not just physical resources that are depleted, it's spiritual currency, moral ground, and public patience. The energy is not strong, it's stretched. And then the Ten of Swords lands like a final punctuation mark. Something is ending, not in a neat or poetic way, but in a way that leaves no room for denial. There's betrayal in the air, the kind that forces truth to be seen even if it hurts. Spirit is naming the moment as a collapse masked by a plan. This isn't just an operation, it's a symbol of what has already failed. We're not being pulled into fear, we're being invited into awareness. A greater cycle is breaking open right now, not to destroy hope, but to dismantle the illusion that the structures we've relied on are still intact. The truth is that they're not. And the more that we can accept that, the more that we can begin to anchor into what Spirit is quietly preparing beneath it all. The next question peels back another layer of this unraveling. Let's move into what's happening beneath the narrative the public is being given. Spirit, what truth is beneath the surface of how the Venezuela operation and the growing global tensions are being presented to the public? We were given the Two of Cups upright and the Queen of Pentacles reversed. On the surface, it looks like diplomacy, alliances, humanitarian aid, and leadership that's doing what it must to protect freedom. but Spirit isn't buying the branding, and neither are our souls. The Two of Cups upright shows us that beneath all of the headlines and official statements, this is about agreements, and not necessarily honest ones. There are private handshakes happening in the shadows, mutually beneficial arrangements between power brokers, corporations, and governments that have less to do with the public well being and more to do with maintaining influence, access, and control. This is less about helping Venezuela and more about leveraging it. The appearance of harmony, mutual goals, and unity on the global stage may be part of the illusion. Spirit is showing us that these alliances might seem stable or peaceful on the outside, but they're transactional at the core. It's about what each player gains, not what the people of Venezuela or the rest of the world truly need. Then we see the Queen of Pentacles reversed, and she's the key unlocking the real story. This is the card of manipulation masked as caretaking, resource hoarding under the guise of nurturing, and someone or multiple entities that are pretending to be the provider, the stabilizer, the one who knows best. But it's all performative. Spirit shows this queen in reverse when the energy behind leadership is cold, calculated, and rooted in material greed. She's not tending the land, she's draining it. Together, these cards reveal that the story we're being told is only the curated version. The real motives are about profit, positioning, and power, not peace. And while we may feel disillusioned by this, Spirit says, you needed to see it. The unraveling of false narratives is part of our awakening. It's what allows us to start asking better questions and demanding better answers. From here, we're shifting to the two global powers whose response could tip everything. Let's now move on into the energy behind Russia and China's reactions. Spirit, when it comes to Russia and China's response to recent US actions, what is the real energy there? And how stable or reactive does Spirit show it to be? We receive the Eight of Swords upright, Seven of Cups reversed, Two of Pentacles upright, Eight of Cups reversed, the Devil upright. The energy is knotted, pressurized, and quietly volatile. The Eight of Swords upright tells us that both Russia and China are feeling cornered, but not helpless. It's a moment of strategic entrapment. They may appear restrained or measured, but this is not a passive energy. They're calculating. Spirit is showing us a mindset of, we're boxed in for now, but we know where the openings are. This card comes up when someone has more options than they appear to have, meaning that what we see publicly isn't the full picture of their capacity or intent. Then comes the Seven of Cups reversed, which confirms that illusions are being stripped away, at least internally. This is a sobering moment of clarity for both nations. The fantasy of diplomacy or the illusion of US restraint has faded. Decisions are being made with sharp awareness and very little idealism. They're no longer wondering if something is brewing, they know it, and they're watching every move with meticulous attention. The Two of Pentacles upright is showing that both are in a delicate act of balance and duality, managing their own internal priorities while reacting to a rapidly shifting global scene. There's a sense of weight in this card. It's the feeling of trying to maintain economic control, domestic support, and military readiness all at once. They're trying not to tip the scales too early, but the juggling act is becoming harder to sustain. Then we hit the Eight of Cups reversed, which brings a striking message. This is not something they're walking away from. If the hope was that this tension might be left behind after a brief reaction, Spirit is saying that that is not the case. The energetic stance here is one of quiet refusal. These countries are not planning to disengage. Instead, they're circling the situation like sharks, contemplating their next move, not retreating. And finally, the Devil upright seals it. This is not just strategy. It's obsession, entrapment, and ego warfare. Spirit is warning us that beneath the composed surface lies a deep need to dominate, to retaliate, and to prove power. This isn't a rational chess game anymore. It's personal, ideological, and driven by forces much darker than policy. Russia and China may not act immediately, but they're not standing down. Spirit wants us to know that these energies are heavy with karmic echoes, old wars, old debts, and old patterns repeating. The danger isn't just escalation, it's how deeply entangled these two nations are becoming with each other and the energies that are driving this global showdown. Now let's look at where those escalating and de escalating forces are working behind the scenes. Spirit, right now, what energies are pushing the situation towards escalation, and what energies are working quietly to slow things down or contain it? We receive the Five of Wands upright, Justice upright, and in this deck, Death is Santa Muerte. The tension is undeniable, and it's not just political, it's energetic warfare playing out on a massive scale. The Five of Wands upright names the escalating force most clearly. Conflict energy is already activated. This isn't diplomacy breaking down. It's a direct charge into challenge, fueled by pride, competition, and ideological sparring. Each actor in this global drama is not just reacting, they're trying to win. And that hunger to dominate, to prove righteousness or power, is inflaming the momentum. This is the frequency of ego based escalation of, if you push me, I'm going to push harder. But then we receive justice upright. A powerful balancing force is also present. It may not be loud, but it is strong. Justice reminds us that universal law is at work, not just earthly law. There are spiritual systems that govern balance, truth, and accountability, and those energies are quietly applying pressure behind the scenes. Legal systems, international agreements, and even cosmic timing are slowing certain movements down. This is spirit whispering, the scales must be balanced before anything moves too far. And then we receive death upright. This is the final hinge point. It's both an ending and a transmutation. Death here tells us that some cycles cannot continue, and so while escalation energy is heating up, Spirit is also working to force metamorphosis. This may look like failed negotiations, broken alliances, or sudden shifts in leadership, but energetically, it's a soul deep pressure to either evolve or perish. We're watching two opposite forces collide, one that wants to blow the top off of the volcano, and one that is slowly but relentlessly disarming the fuse. Whether we see chaos or restraint in the coming weeks depends entirely on which of these forces gains ground. And that's why Spirit wants to bring our awareness next to the fear itself, not the events, but the collective panic that they're triggering, and how we can hold our energy wisely within it. Spirit, with so much fear and talk about a possible world level conflict, how is the energy affecting the collective, and what does Spirit want us to understand about feeding the panic? We receive the Star reversed, Ace of Wands reversed, and Seven of Wands upright. The fear that we're swimming in right now is not just a reaction, it's residue. With the Star reversed, we see that the collective has been spiritually disoriented. Our sense of hope, our belief in a higher guidance, and even our connection to something bigger than ourselves has been fractured. The light we usually look for direction feels dimmer and harder to find. Spirit is showing us that many people are struggling to locate their faith in the middle of so much noise, and that's what's making the fear louder. The Ace of Wands reversed tells us why panic feels so potent. It's because we've lost our energetic ignition. The collective feels powerless, unsure of how to act, unsure of what even can be done. It's a sense of being frozen. almost like watching the world tip and feeling like no spark of change lives in our own hands. This card also suggests that many of us are burning out emotionally. We've been in survival mode for so long that our inner flame is flickering, not because it's gone, but because it's exhausted. Then, rising in defiance of both cards, comes the Seven of Wands upright. This is your soul's refusal to give in. This is the stand your ground card, the reminder that even when everything feels like it's coming at us, we still have a choice in how we respond. Spirit is showing us that courage is a spiritual act, not just a reactive one. This card reminds us to stay grounded in our truth, to protect our inner terrain, and to not internalize every headline or emotional wave that we encounter. So, how is fear affecting the collective? It's dimming our light and draining our fire, but it's not erasing our power. Spirit wants you to know that staying rooted, protecting your energy, and remembering your inner sovereignty is not a delusion. It's wisdom, my love. With that, we move into the final anchor of this reading, the guidance that Spirit offers us as we step forward into 2026. Let's ask what awareness will most support us as the world keeps shifting beneath our feet. Spirit, as we move forward into 2026 with a lot of uncertainty in the air, what inner stance, awareness, or form of discernment will best support us right now? We received the Queen of Cups upright, the Empress upright, Judgment upright, and the High Priestess upright. Spirit doesn't want us to just survive 2026. Spirit wants us to embody it. The Queen of Cups upright steps forward first, cradling emotional intelligence like a chalice. This card is a call to stay soft without crumbling, to feel deeply but not drown. She reminds us to tend to our internal waters, to pause before we absorb external chaos, and to honor sensitivity as strength. This queen is not reactive. She listens, and she trusts the tide of her emotions to guide her without letting them become a storm. Then we meet the Empress upright. This is fertile ground, divine embodiment, and the energy of creation itself. She's here to remind us that receiving is not passive. Spirit wants us to root into what nourishes us, to ground ourselves in beauty, ritual, and the life that we're still allowed to build, even as the world feels unsteady. My loves, we are not powerless. We're planting things, and what we grow this year will shape the next. Then Judgment upright arrives like a divine bell ringing in the soul. This is not a warning, it's a wake up. Spirit is calling us back to our truest selves, asking us to rise from the amnesia of fear and remember why we came here. There is a rebirth woven throughout this card, an invitation to shed illusions and step fully into spiritual responsibility. No more hiding, no more shrinking. It's time to live as who we truly are. And finally, the High Priestess upright holds the gate between the seen and unseen. Her presence here is Spirit's whisper, letting you know that your intuition is your most sacred compass right now. She reminds us to move from depth, not distraction, to stop waiting for clarity to come from the external world and instead source it from within. Spirit is not hiding, Spirit is in the stillness. My loves, this isn't just a lineup of divine feminine archetypes. This is an invocation. Spirit is laying down a blueprint of how to walk through 2026 with discernment, grace, and grounded power. Lead with your intuition. Stay emotionally attuned. Root yourself in what nurtures you. And rise to your higher calling even when the path looks unclear. Because this isn't just about enduring the year. It's about embodying who we came here to be. Oh, that was a lot to hold, I know. And yet, Spirit didn't give us chaos. They gave us clarity, patterns, and a deep rhythm beneath all the noise. This moment that we're in, it's not just about politics or war. It's about pressure meeting purpose. about shadow being exposed so that discernment can rise. It's about us, the awakened and the aware, standing in emotional, spiritual, and moral sovereignty, even when the world is loud. We were shown that not all escalation is visible, and not all peace is passive, that fear may be spreading, but so is sacred awareness. Love, we are being asked to stay awake, to hold our grace and grit, and to remember that revelation is a form of divine protection, even when it rattles us. If this session stirred anything in you, if a moment landed, if a truth rose, I would love to hear from you. Drop your thoughts, your questions, or insights in the comments below. Let's hold space for each other there. And if you're called to dig deeper into your own personal situations, I offer pendulum and tarot readings through my Etsy shop. It would be an honor to read for you. You can find the link in the pinned comment below and in the video description. And if you haven't seen the pendulum video from yesterday that goes along with this tarot reading, I'll have it linked at the end. And finally, just a soft reminder, this reading was for entertainment purposes and spiritual insight only. Everything stated is alleged. Please always trust your intuition. Only take what resonates and leave anything that doesn't. Stay grounded, stay clear, and stay in your light, even when the world tries to shake it. I love you, I appreciate you, and I'll meet you in the comments.